Go live. Woo woo! Welcome everybody. Chuck Brothers, Cover Land Proud. How are you doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome James. Welcome Karen. How are you all doing? How is your day? Hopefully better than mine. It's not been real good. We've been man. Whoa, we did it though. We got through it, and here we are. Here we are. I'm gonna tell you what we did. Down at the Railroad Museum, I guess a crane hit a pole or hit a line or whatever, messed my computer up. Everything we got here was messed up. My nephew David come and saved the show. Thank you, David. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. That is awesome. Awesome, my friend. Thought I was gonna have to go redo all of this, but we didn't have to. We didn't get all crazy and all that stuff. Can y'all hear me all right? Is the sound good? Hello? Hello? I hear it right there. You gotta turn your sound down.
Oh,
All right.
sorry.
Never mind. We hear you. I got to turn mine down too. Yeah, I know. We still learning. That's all right though. But, I'm trying to turn my speaker off here. And all right, now we're good. Anyways, we got a special guest here, Virginia Howard, my mom. Ain't she beautiful? She look. I mean, I know, right? I know, right?
Almost twins.
Almost twins. Beautiful, beautiful twins. But anyways, she's here with me tonight, and we're going to talk about all kinds of good things. But I'm going to kind of introduce her a little bit here. Like I said, Mom, Virginia Howard. If you need to know, if you're like taking notes and writing chapters, Virginia Howard, right there. uh, Definitely one of my, I guess, biggest fans. One of the biggest haters, all that good stuff. I'm sure she never hated me. That's a lie. But anyways, what a great opportunity to get on here and share a little message about recovery and get to bring my mom on here too. And she get to tell you all the nasty, dirty details of all that crazy stuff. And definitely put her through all kinds of that crazy stuff, like I was saying. And man, I tell you, just kind of overwhelmed right now because nothing was working. And now it is. And, whoo, thank God, because I like doing this. But, anyways, here's Mom. I'm going to let her kind of start off at the beginning at, I guess, when I was about 13, 12, 10-ish. 10 to 13-ish, somewhere around there when I started getting crazy. What is the first thing that you notice as a parent with your child, as me, that really stuck out the most when you started to realize something just wasn't right?
Well, I really thought it was me and kept blaming myself because I couldn't connect with you the way I used to when you was younger. We were best friends almost. You minded well. You always kept your room clean. You was really a good kid. And then one day I woke up and I didn't know who in the heck you were. I thought, why is he back talking as much, and why is he so mad all the time? And just couldn't figure it out. So, as every parent would do that loves their children, you blame yourself first. And I didn't know until years down the road, many years down the road, that there was a major problem. And that's what I hated, is I didn't recognize what was really going on. And so, you know, it makes a parent feel helpless when they do find out.
I get that. I mean, y'all heard that she said I cleaned my room. I was the best sibling and all that. I mean, that's what I heard, that I was the greatest of all her kids. And I know, Jennifer, right? I was better than you. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. That is not what she said. But, that's my ego, and that's the way my ego's always run. And I kind of live on ego sometimes. And I really try to fight that, because when I start getting that big head, nothing works out. Like I was telling y'all about my plumbing deal the other day. I was going to fix it, and I ended up calling a plumber after I done spent a bunch of money trying to fix it. But, yeah, I'm just nodding a little setting there. Sorry, people. But anyways,
You notice he put the bright light where I shine a little bit over here.
Need to turn
And,
that a little bit, just a
Yeah,
hair.
just a little bit.
There we go.
My lighting is off.
Keep
now I
going.
think I could look 20 years younger if you didn't have it.
Yeah, we had an electrical problem today, and I apologize. There we go.
Oh, much better. Now you can see really how gorgeous I am.
Yeah, that's better, I think. Yeah, I'm a little
Yeah.
dark, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Man, how's the color, people? Y'all like that? Woo woo. Can you get a woo woo for 'em, Mom?
Woo woo.
I even got Mom doing woo woo. Mom's face is bright, hardly see. All right, give me a second. We're still working on it. Let me try something here. Am I going up or down? I can't see. I'm going up. Sorry.
Oh, stop. Oh,
I think is that better?
looks good to me.
But anyways, sorry about the adjustments, people. We really just got this going on, and I owe it to my nephew. There we go. That looks a lot better.
Yes.
I owe it to my nephew for coming up here and saving the show. And yeah, it was pretty exciting. You know, Mom was going to be a star, then she wasn't going to be a star. Now she's a star.
Yes, yes.
And,
I was excited.
super excited. You know, and then, you know, you kind of noticed that things were going wrong, her attitude, and moved on from there. And I always tell them about the story where I was went to Tennessee and I had that big party there in Sellersburg. And I guess I was in the 8th grade.
Yes.
And they're still talking about that party now, and I'm 46.
To this day.
So, kind of tell your side of that story.
Well, my side of the story is he was supposed to go to Tennessee.
I did go to Tennessee.
And so I came down to New Haven to visit my going to be husband, David Bougie Howard. And I get this phone call late at night, and it's the police department, and that they asked me if my son was Charles Robert Brothers, and I said yes. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he's been in a wreck, he's dying, and all this. And they said I needed to immediately come home. So I went back home to the police department, of course, and I find out that this wonderful boy of mine decided to take and give his key to some friends so they could get in while he was gone and get ready for this wonderful party. Well, back then I was one of these moms that when I got up, I would vacuum my floors and dust a little bit every single day, drove my kids crazy. And I just couldn't believe that my son would have a party. Well, one thing after another, here comes. My son is acting crazy in the middle of the road, cussing and doing all this crazy stuff, and the police was called, and they had a big party at my house, and they were going to turn me in, and I was going to lose my kids, and maybe possibly go to jail. And I'm thinking, the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to kill him. Just bring him to me. Just bring him to me. And that's when I found out that Chuck was doing some kind of drugs. I thought he was drinking is what I thought, but they had told me that he possibly had popped some pills. So that was my first introduction to the downhill road that I had with Chuck. And I really I didn't have any information, didn't know where to go or what to do, but drag his ass down to where I was at and keep him there. And that way I could keep an eye on him, thinking, like every parent does, that he will be okay, and I don't have to worry about it no more because he's under my watchful eye. And that was all a lie that I kept telling myself, because it got worse and worse and worse. And I still, at that time, did not know. I thought he was just, I thought he was on pot, maybe. I didn't know. And he, I just kept seeing so much difference in him. And slowly but surely, I didn't realize that I was losing my son. And to this day, I get teary-eyed because I wished I had known more about drugs and the the changes your children go through. Can't think of what I'm trying to say, but it's, if you could have seen or knew what the signs were, you could make more sense and make wiser decisions better than I do. And gotta fix my teeth. Slur sometimes. I got brand new false teeth, and I still can't talk sometimes. So excuse me. But I really started going downhill with him because I kept following him to catch him, and every time I thought I was catching him, I was putting him further down, and did not realize that. And you take on a lot when all this happens, and especially if you don't know what's happening, you just are guessing and blaming yourself, and you're losing the grip of your son, and or your children, whoever it may be. But it's a horrible, horrible thing that a parent slides through. I never saw into it, and when I found out that what it was, when he was in his late 30s, or even maybe before that, but when I found out what it truly, truly was, it was too late for me to keep him from going, and he kept going further and further. But I kept saying to myself, I've got to, excuse me.
You're right. Carry on.
But I thought, I have to hold on. So many people were giving up on him, and they kept telling me, Mom, or Virginia, or whatever, you need to let go. You need to see what's going on. And in the back of my mind, I saw it. I didn't want to believe it. And I had to keep holding on to this boy. Because down in my heart, I felt like if I let go for a moment, if I don't answer that door again, or if I don't pick up that phone again, as much as I didn't want to, as much as I dreaded him calling me or coming to my door, I felt like if I don't answer that door, if I don't answer that phone, I'm going to lose my son. And I knew that he needed me more than he really thought he did. And if I didn't show him some kind of compassion or love, he'd be gone. And I just prayed and prayed and prayed. And I kept thinking to myself, just when I didn't have the money to give him anymore, when I didn't have the energy to give him anymore, I knew I had the love for him. And I just kept hold of it. And I said, no, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. Even though I wanted to kill him sometimes, some of the things he did, the lies he told me to get money, to get cigarettes. Yes. My son truly lied to me. But he would say, Mom, I need gas for going to work. Mom, I need to pay one of my employees. Can you give me the money? I promise I'll give it to you payday. And all these lies that he thought he was lying. He thought he was getting by with it. But I knew in my heart that he was lying to me, and it was another way to get money. And he knew I wasn't going to let him not be able to go to work. He knew I wasn't going to let him go without food. But I knew that I had to be there, and I had to endure whatever it was that I was fighting, and I was fighting something that I couldn't see. And but I knew I had to be strong and do it. And I don't regret any minute of it. It empowered me when I finally found out that I was strong enough to look at him and say, no more money. I can't be around you right now, because it was, I'd gotten so unsteady myself that I was afraid for me to not be able to help him. And so when he said he was going to get help, I would have driven him anywhere, to the moon and back, to get him help. And when he'd walk out of it, I'd go get him, and I'd be so mad that was the longest, quietest drives, several times, that I took with him. And it was because I was so furious. But I didn't realize that he wasn't able to do it at that moment. He wasn't ready. But he wasn't, it was such an illness that he couldn't fight it. And I just, I don't know what else to say other than I knew that even though I couldn't talk to him, couldn't stand to be around him, I couldn't let go of him. And so I thank God that that God gave me the strength, and I thank God that Chuck fell to the bottom as far as he did, and that he asked God to help him, because I couldn't do it no more. I couldn't help him. I couldn't make him well. I couldn't, I just couldn't do anything myself. And so when I found out that he prayed to God, I kept saying to myself, now don't get up hopes, Virginia. You've heard stuff before. But my happiest day was one day he came to my door. And this is not too long ago. And he said he was walking through the door, and he was laughing and cutting up and saying, making jokes and all that. And I just sat there looking at him. I thought, oh my God. My son has come home. After all this time, my son has come home. Sorry.
You're right. It's back there. We go back a little bit there. You said something about, you just kept giving and giving and giving. And I like in recovery, we refer to that as loving somebody to death.
And I was.
And that's what we do, or parents do, or your loved ones do. Mm-hmm. I personally didn't get to love anybody to death or love them to life either. And that's what I always like to refer to as love them to life, when you cut them off and you don't give them no money no more. And it's got to be the hardest thing in the world.
Oh, it's
awful. I can remember, I'd be there at the house and literally haven't ate in a week or two, been up for 7, 8, 10, 12 days. And used to make the joke, yeah, I slept twice in November, ate twice in December. And I can remember you come up there one day and, I was hungry. I guess I'd run out of money, couldn't get no more dope or whatever, for whatever reason. And man, I was starving to death. I was like, Mom, you got to come get me some food. And you was a hard ass. Not to cuss, but you really was. So I was like, and I was like, no, Mom, you don't get it. I got to have some food. And you took me up there to Hodgenville and probably because you didn't want to be seen with me here in New Haven and bought me probably $300 worth of groceries, which I was truly grateful. And, but when you're in the madness like that, you don't really, you can't show grateful. Not that you're not grateful, because you really are, but you're already, because you got this stigma with your family that you're a piece of crap, you're no good, you're never going to get no better, and they're tired, and they're tired. They're pretty much shutting you down on everything. And at that point, but I really was grateful that day that you did that, and we stopped up there and got cigarettes, and I always appreciated it more than anything in the world, and I know I didn't show it. And really, I didn't have it in me to show anything, because I was still out there in the madness. And no, I didn't, Connie. I'll get that with you. I apologize about that. Sorry, people. I got a text there, and I do need to. I will have that for you. I apologize. I just forgot about it, but just been super busy doing all this stuff. But yeah, it's hard to show anything when everybody's mad at you. You already know there ain't nothing you can say. I done promised you a million times I was going to quit, or I want to do it this time, or next time, or I want to do it this time, and it just never happened. And like you said, I couldn't. I tried. I just couldn't. It wasn't that I didn't want to. I really, really wanted to. I just couldn't. Didn't have no way of knowing how or nothing. And it was... Here's the craziest part is when I did finally get locked up with 12 grams of heroin, have grandma meth and a Xanax bar up in Louisville, I didn't tell nobody. I knew better. I thought, this is exactly what went through my mind that day is, I ain't telling them. And I ain't telling them because here I go. You done did it again. Ain't you ever going to learn? You are a piece of crap. Or, you just start telling yourself that that's what they're going to say. So I didn't. I just didn't tell nobody. And
I like the way you told me you was going on a trip for a week or two, and I couldn't imagine why you were going on a trip, but you didn't want me to know what was going on.
Yeah, I told you I was going to work for a week.
Yeah,
and you
out of town.
Out of town, you needed to keep Stephen, and what that was is where I got locked up with all that dope and stuff up there in Louisville. They offer a rocket docket, and basically what they told me was, you take this rocket docket, you sign this right here, do the rocket docket, you go to clean out for 7 days, and then you go to IOP for 6 months, and it's like you never did it. They wipe your record. Well, lo and behold, I said, okay, yeah, that's for me right there. Easy way out. And so I told Mom I was going to work out of town. She needed to keep Stephen for a week, and I'd be home in about 8, 9 days. And I went up there to Louisville, went to JDAC, and man, it was awful. I was in withdrawal and we're just really sick. And I made it 6 days, 15 hours, and whatever. And I finally said, to heck with this, and I left. But I did keep going to the IOP, and turn around. Finally court comes up, so I go to court, and I get there, and they look at me and say, you just had too much dope on you, dude. We can't let you just go scot-free. And told me basically that my OP didn't count. And I had to go back to do the 7 days at JDAC again because I didn't complete. So what happened was I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't say I was going out of town again. I already paid for my lawyer, put my money up for my lawyer and all that, trying to just kind of get by through this. And I was stuck. I had nothing else I could say. I had to go away, and then they offered me 10 years on top of on top of it. I thought, well, here I gotta go away for 7 days. They're gonna give me 10 years. I gotta say something to somebody. I just can't go away for 10 years and
No,
be
no.
gone. And so that's when I finally broke down and told Mom that what was going on and what had happened, and just really come clean on everything. And I'll never forget, she's mad, boy. Woo!
Yes.
She probably wanted them to take me for 20 years because 10 just wasn't long enough. And
No, I thought, let me have him the 10 years. Make him stay with me for 10 years, and I will cure him of something.
but, I get up there, and Mom takes me to court, or she takes me to JDAC, drops me off, and just really didn't say a whole lot of anything to me. And that got to be the norm for a while. And so I went in, I did complete, and that was probably the first time I didn't ever overdose, knock on wood. Hopefully it don't ever happen. But, you know, that was probably the sickest I've ever been, and probably closest I've ever been to death. Anyways, from the withdrawals I went through. And made it to it, got out, and they went back to court, and got there, and they offered me 10 years, or said that they're going to work something out, or go in there and talk to the prosecutor, whatever. I don't know exactly what happened. I was still struggling at this point. And we're sitting out there on the bench, Jefferson County Courthouse. I guess we was on the 3rd floor, somewhere up there. I don't know. Upstairs.
Upstairs.
And my attorney walked out, and he said, where'd they find that dope at? I said, well, it was right here underneath my leg. And he said, you wasn't driving. I said, no, I was passenger. I said, but it was all mine. You know, everything was mine. And he's like, no, it wasn't yours. And I said, man, I ain't turning my buddy in for nothing, the guy that was with me driving. I said, he really had nothing to do with it. He's like, oh, well, it ain't falling on him anyways. It was just in the car. They already swore that it was yours. And probably the best move I ever made, I didn't know it at the time, was to say that it was all mine. And because they couldn't put it in my pocket, on my person, they offered me a 2 for $3 diversion. And that, I mean, I tell you, that was a miracle. And when we was walking down out of the courthouse, my lawyer looked at me and he said, you know, you just got lucky. He said, that's one of the best deals I've ever seen since I've been a lawyer. And that, I mean, it's like, I'm going to go to my friends and brag that I got you that. That's how good that was. And I was like, man, I just didn't know. So basically, I got to go home. I get to be on probation. If I could walk it off in 3 years, I was good. But if I didn't, I had to serve 2. Well, you know, the addict that I am, I'm such a good probationer that, you know, I just started smoking meth every day. And I was going to get away with it because I done beat the heroin. I could get off the heroin. Mm-hmm. Now I could do the meth, so I could put that down.
Yeah.
You know, I'd stop 7 days before I go to the probation office. Yeah, right. Not me. I got to smoke it all the way to the probation office. And I failed drug test after drug test after drug test. And of course, every time they'd send me to 6 months IOP. And then it was, first it was 10 classes. Then it was 6 months IOP. And then it was long-term rehab. So, I mean, I was like failing miserably. So I get up here to Hill and Place in Campbellsville. And I do about 3.5 months or 4 months. I'm like probably 43 days to the door to get out of there and have the deal done. And, well, I popped a pee test because I was getting high in rehab. I was paying a guy to give me his pee. And
do you remember what you told me?
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
So they called me down there one morning. They said, Chuck, you're dirty for methamphetamines. I told them they was crazy. Not me.
No, not you.
Not me. That's wrong. He said, Chuck, we run the test 3 times. All 3 times, you was dirty. Of course, in my mind, I'm mad at old dude upstairs that was giving me his pee. I mean, all the people in there, I could have got pee off anybody, but he had to give me his dirty pee.
Yeah.
Which he graduated the program. I don't ever see how that happened. But anyways, so I got to call Mom. I'm stuck in Campbellsville. And she's like, I'm on my way, with that tone, you know. And I was like, man, I got all my stuff downstairs. waiting by the door. Mom pulls up. I grab my stuff. I walk out the door. I said, come on, let's go. Them son of a bitches, can you believe they tell me I was dirty? She says, well, I'm going to go walk in there and talk to them. And I was like, oh, man, what am I going to do now? Well, the hell with this. I'm leaving. And I took off walking down the road.
Yes,
And I guess about 15 minutes later, here comes Mom. Choom, went right by me. I thought, man, she ain't going to stop picking me up. She knows they're gonna lock me up if the cops pull me over because I'm I can't remember what you call it when I left rehab. But anyways, so she finally turns around, comes, picks me up, and takes me home, and I'm thinking, man, they're gonna get a warrant. They're gonna come get me. You know, here I'm just worried about me. That's all I was worried about. Didn't care about nobody else, and. Probation officer calls me. Or I called the probation officer because if you get kicked out, you're supposed to call him within 24 hours. That, I tell you people, that was probably one of the best things I ever did in my life, was I always showed up to court every time. Dirty, not dirty, scared to death, I always showed up. That kept me out of jail, out of most of it. And then when I got kicked out of rehab, I called the probation officer the next day so they didn't send a warrant. What they did was, they waited a couple of weeks, and then they sent me to Erlanger, Kentucky, to another rehab, the Grateful Life Center.
I remember that trip.
And Mom, give me a ride. And I remember when we got there, I went to get out of the car, and she said, you're going to get your ass in that building. And I don't want to hear from you for 6 months. And I looked at her, and I was like, oh, like I'm going to run? So I get in there, and I really did try. I mean, I lasted about a week and a half. I ain't going to try to BS anybody. I lasted about a week and a half. And Mom called me, and at that time, I guess she knew already that Carrie had taken Stephen, and we didn't know where she was at. And I'd love to tell y'all I left for that reason.
Which he did tell me that.
Which I was worried about. I mean, I really did leave for that reason, but that wasn't what happened. I mean, not as an addict. I hitchhiked a ride. I got a ride to where I was going. Out of state. I knew nobody would find me where I was at. I was safe. Really, I was. But thing is this bird didn't need to be caged, period. I don't belong stuck in a house somewhere or locked up and all that. So it just started wearing on me that I need to do something. I got a warrant. And I can't leave the house scared to death, even though I know they can't find me. And so I called my attorney up. I said, man, I got to do something about this warrant. And he said, well, let me check my computer and all that. And he got on his computer and he said, well, you ain't got no warrant. But if you don't show up to court on Monday morning, you will be. You got a revocation hearing at 9 o'clock. Once again, I had to call Mom. And of course, that's sad, Mom, you know how I do, or we do, or whoever. And he said, I'll be there. I'll pick you up. Be ready. So we go to court, and man, they still didn't lock me up. I don't see how they didn't lock me out. I mean, they never, knock on wood, but they didn't lock me. I mean, I walked in that courthouse and walked out of that courthouse.
Yes.
A bunch. And but what happened was they set me a revocation hearing and told me to come back, and which I did. And when I did come back, the lawyer talked to the judge, or the prosecutor talked to the judge. Judge talked to the prosecutor. Prosecutor talked to my attorney. My attorney talked to the prosecutor. Went back to the judge, and it went like that for about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he walked up behind me and he said, "Look, son, they're gonna give you another chance." I about fell out of my chair, really. And they offered me drug court, and I thought, man, I done heard that's failure. They set me up for failure. I know they are, but you know what? I might get another couple months out of jail. And so I took it, and probably the best thing ever happened, really. I mean, from that point there, I mean, right before that, I was wanting to just go and jump through the hoops and get right back to that excellent life I was living. And, broke and vicious circle, withdrawals. I mean, it was just such a great life. I couldn't wait to get back there. And, well, I don't know what happened. I finally talked to the drug court in Nelson County, and I got honest, and things changed. But really, before that was just so awful. I can't imagine laying in bed at night thinking about Stephen. Is he gonna get a phone call tonight that they found him dead, overdosed? Somebody shot him. I mean, because I would go to places like the worst parts of Louisville, $500 in my pocket, looking for dope. Who does that? I mean, I do. That's what I did, and so I can't imagine what I put you and the family to, and all that. And I can't even stress enough about that loving people to death, because you really do. And I really don't get to see that part of it as your side, because I was the addict and you was the parent. And I tell you, I never forget the day we was going back to Campbellsville. I guess we just barely got on there, and you said, Chuck, I just don't understand why you keep hurting yourself. You're not hurting nobody but yourself. And I thought at that point I knew that it was a lie. It was all a lie, because I was hurting everybody,
Right.
including probably everybody way worse than me. And you don't realize how sick that you all get. I mean, you were just as sick as I
Yes.
was.
Oh, really bad.
I mean,
yes.
I just can't kind of explain that part of the sicknesses where you almost deny that there's something wrong, and you just kind of do what you do.
Mm-hmm. You become a robot. You become a robot to the addict. Mom, I need cigarettes. All right, I'll be right. I'll drive that hour and bring you cigarettes, and I might get to see you for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You just you don't understand what it is. I did not understand until I started going to some of the meetings that he went to, and they were, I'll never forget, I went up to Louisville, and I hate to drive in Louisville, but I drove up there, and he was there, and he had called and said, Mom, they're having a meeting, you can come, and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, I didn't want to go, but I thought, nah, I'm going to go. And I went, and they showed a video, and they started explaining how addiction is, and how the addiction affects the person, the parent, the one that loves the addict, and how the addict really is thinking that they really... I don't know how to explain it, but we as the ones that love them don't understand that this is such a deep illness that they really want to get well. They really want to be better. They really want that for that moment when they're talking to you, and when they're struggling the most, and saying, I'm going to do it, and you're over here and you're believing it because you don't really know what they're talking about, but you're just over there trying to say, well, I believe you. No, that meeting opened my eyes, because it made me realize that I was killing him myself with being me. And I realized that I needed not to be me no more. I couldn't be Mom no more. I couldn't be his friend no more. I had to turn away from him, because everything he's saying, he believes it. He believes it with all of his heart. And because he believed it so much, I got pulled into it believing it too. But once I understood, I started pulling back. And family doesn't realize it, but I had to pull back. And as I was pulling back, I was beginning to understand it more and more. So when people say, you're hurting your mother, you're hurting your dad, you're hurting your kids, you're hurting your brothers, you're hurting yourself, they know it. They know it. But they don't know how to fix it. They're not able to. They're not themselves. It's such a disease. And that disease also it wears off onto whoever loves them. It makes that person have a disease of, I've got to help, I've got to help, I've got to help, I got to believe them, I got to fix this. Well, no, that's the worst things you can do. And I was so glad that I went to that meeting. And then there was other places that he would go to, and I'd go to those meetings. And I was slowly learning that I was just as guilty at keeping him where he was at. Every time I bought a carton of cigarettes, or my sister calling me. She doesn't know I'm a star. So anyway, you don't realize all those things you do out of love and compassion are the worst things you can do, and you need to learn and go to meetings and talk to other people, parents and friends and relatives who are going through the same thing with their loved ones, because you start realizing that all of us are making the same mistakes, and realize that you've got to drag yourself to a point and stay there and not do anything, not say anything, not be there. You love them, but you cannot condone anymore their lies. And you cannot condone the lies you keep telling yourself. And I suggest to anyone and everyone, I don't care if you've got an addict in the family or not, but I think the wisest thing that any one person can do is learn about addiction. Learn what it is that everybody else is talking about, that everybody else is going through. Everybody hears the words, oh, so-and-so, they overdosed and stuff. But you don't know enough about any of it. You're passing by and watching all this going on. But until everyone learns what it truly is and how to fix it, it's always going to be a wild disease out there. And I suggest to everybody who's got a child, a grandchild, a great-grandchild, a brother, a sister, a niece, nephew, whatever, take a little time. We live in a great world where you can pick up your phone now and you Google everything, and it'll tell you everything. I think everybody should make themselves aware what addiction is. And once they start learning, then they can look at these people that are upset and crying because their son died, their daughter died, their wife died, husband died, whatever, and know the true compassion that they need to have for that person and for that person that's an addict. But teach yourself to know the steps to stay away in the right way. I don't know if I explained that right or not,
You
but
did good, because your point of view is the best part of it. Because I can sit here every day and do this show and tell my side of this story, but I can't tell your side because I don't know your side.
Mhm.
I mean, I know the pain that you felt, kind of.
Mhm.
Now, I guess being
Mhm.
sober,
Mhm.
but as an addict, I all I could think about was me, anyways. You know,
Oh yes, he
it's
was
like
very selfish.
it's like I got a sponsee. She always says that that she packed her kids' clothes up and took them to the end of the driveway, set them down there, picked up the phone, and called her ex husband or whoever and told him to come get them.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, that's what we do. It's easy to say, "You took my kids," "They took my kids," or "You helped them take my kids," but really, you let them.
You let them, yes.
The drugs overtake that. And it used to get on me when I'd go to rehab that, they'd say, "Well, if you loved your kids so much, why'd you keep doing it? You didn't love your kids." And it used to make me so mad. And I'd be like, "No, I really do love my kids." And they're like, "Well, you're not showing it. I mean,
Right.
you're not doing. What are you doing to make it better? The judge made you come here. You did nothing." And it's always. I really feel like you got to. It's the actions you take. Today, I don't like to say, "Okay, I'm not going to do that no more, Mom." I just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I show you that I don't do it. The
Mhm.
actions speak louder than words.
Right.
I done said all I could say. I'm sorry, I did it. I could say a million things, but that don't. The words mean nothing.
Right.
I mean, your word becomes nothing. And my next favorite part is when they say, or I'd come up to 2 weeks out of rehab, "Mom, let me borrow your car." "What do you mean you don't trust me? I mean, I've been clean for 2 weeks."
Right. Right. I do. I know you're running out of time, and you've got a lot of other important things to do. But I do want to relay this one thing to you. Story. It's a true story. When you were sitting over in your house without food, without electric, without water, and I had Stephen, and Stephen wanted to come over and visit you, and I thought, well, I'll let him. Well, he wanted to stay all night with you. And against everybody else, I let him. And when I come to bring him home, he wanted to stay again. And finally, the third day, he came home, and he and we always laid in the bed and talked before he'd go to sleep. And I said, "Stephen, your dad's sick, and you really need to stay here with me. I can get you off to school, fix your meals, whatever the situation was at the time." And he said something to me, another tearjerker, but it really made an impression on me because he said, "Mom, Dad's over there by himself." And I said, "I know, but you don't need to be over there with no electric, water, or whatever." And he says, Mama, I can't stand to know that my dad's over there by himself." And I said, "You know what? I'm going to turn his water on. I know I'm not supposed to do anything. I'm turning this water on so that you can go over there and you can be with your dad." Because I felt in my heart that if Chuck was going to get better, that little boy was going to make him better. He was going to be a big influence on Chuck getting better. And I don't regret it. Maybe some people think I should, but that little boy loved you so much. He'd sit in that floor with no electric, no water, not hardly any food in the house, and he wanted to be with his dad. And that's when I kind of turned your water on for you, brought you some food over to make sure that I was feeding Stephen, and through him, I was taking care of you. But I also knew it was the right thing to do. A lot of people think, no, that's crazy, look at the harm, blah, blah, blah. But until you're in that situation, you've got to let God tell you what to do. And that's what I felt like God wanted me to do. He wanted me to work through Stephen for his dad. And praise God. Another little thing I want to say is I've always believed in God. I always loved God. He's always got me through many, many things. Things that, hey, I made mistakes too. I'm not the sweet, wonderful person everybody thinks I've always been. No, believe it or not, I used to, I'm not even going to go there. But I will say this, that I started getting closer to God and closer to God through all this. And I know that this isn't a religious show per se, but I have found out that what was bringing me closer to God was bringing me closer to Chuck, bringing me closer to what I want to be, how I should be, and now when I have a question or get to thinking about something, I'll call Chuck, or else if I'm depressed, I'll call Chuck and say, Mom, this is how it is, and he'll get me on the right path with God and myself. And I couldn't ask for a better son. I'm not just saying this because I'm a star today, but I'm saying it because it's true. I've always been proud of my children. I know they don't know that. They don't realize that, but I brag about my children to everyone when I'm out, and I may not say I'm proud of you face to face, but I tell you what, I've got some wonderful children. My daughter, she's a top-notch hairstylist, in my opinion. She's kind, caring, loving. She has raised two of the most beautiful grandchildren. Chuck, he came out of the deepest hell that I've ever seen anybody in, and he scratched his way up there, and now he is actually teaching me things about life, about compassion, love of God, and I'm just proud of him. I'm proud of my other son, Doug. He does backhoe and all that stuff, digs in dirt like he always did, and I'm proud of all of them. They've made me very proud. I'm not ashamed to be around any of them anywhere. And that's their children, my great-grandchildren, whatever. I am very proud of my family. I've got a wonderful husband who doubted my sanity a lot of times because of the situation with Chuck. But they all still are dear to me, and I love them, and I'm proud of them, and nothing anybody can say or do can make me ashamed, because I'll come back to them and say, hey, if you can honestly say that you've never done anything in your life wrong, then I'll let you throw that first stone at me. But don't do that. Don't be that person, because you don't know where God's going to take you, or who He's going to use. And He used my son to show me endurance in everything. I'd like to see a lot of people that are bad mouthing other people. to climb that stair, gripping each piece of earth that they can to get up out of where he's been. And my heart goes out to all parents, all people who have gone through this with their children or family. It is the most treacherous climb that you'll ever see anybody go through. And if they make it out, then they deserve all of your love. I don't know what more to say, but when you see someone do that and then come back and be as loving as they will be when they climb out of that, because they know the appreciation that they've for getting out, for making it, and not turning back. So I thank you.
Oh, thank God. I got to give him all the glory. I appreciate it. That's one of the things I always struggle with in life is being, be appreciated by your parents. And that's something I never really felt. Not that it wasn't there, because my mind tells me things that's not true. Like people don't like me, people don't love me, nobody wants to be around you. Even though they do, my brain says they don't. Mm-hmm. And that was probably one of the biggest battles for me to get over. And it really is. It's I know people don't like the disease concept of addiction or alcoholism, but really the disease ain't doing the drugs or drinking the alcohol. The disease is what's going on up here in my head.
Right.
Not the drugs and alcohol. All that is the medicine that I prescribed myself to fill that hole or to fix that brain that was going on. And that's the disease. My way of thinking. I don't know if I'm exactly right on that, but I can see that it was my choice to pick up to begin with. Nobody made me do it.
But there was something going on before you did it.
Yes. From birth, probably. I don't know where it started, or they say trauma and all that stuff. I don't know, but we are running out of time, and I want to thank you and tell you I love you, and I appreciate you being there every time. Not everybody's got that.
Well, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart to making me a star today. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but I'm very proud that he asked me, and I'll come back again sometime whenever you want me.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
I want to tell everybody out there that I love you with all my heart. I believe in you. If you was to quit today, your sobriety date, let me look at the date here, would be 10/17/2020. Woo, woo, what a day. If you quit today, chances of overdosing tomorrow, slim to none. Plus, there's people out here that do love you, like me. I have faith in you. I believe in you. I really do. Because a fanatic like me can get clean and sober. Any addict can get clean and sober.
Amen.
Any addict can get clean and sober. I'm going to leave y'all with my best friend here and drama. It usually don't work when I do this, but I'm going to try it again. Drama. I do have the rights to play this music on this show. He's a Bardstown guy that I'm going to get him on this show. I promise you. I am going to get him on here. And he's a rapper from Bardstown. He's got a pretty good story. His brother killed himself, and that started him in his career of rapping. And that's what he does today to spread the message of love and all that stuff because of his brother's passing. And man, I tell you, it's got to be a beast. It's got to be a beast. I don't have time to get into it, but I do love y'all. I do believe in you all. 100%. Reach out. There are people out there that care.
Right.
Reach out. It's all good, people. It is all good.
never judge a man until you take a step into his shoes. First you gotta understand the sand that he's walking through. Silence by default, but it's never been his fault. Following the code, hanging around nothing but adults. Cause he was treading water in a pool of good intentions. Always would envision a mission, but no one listened. Wishing to be noticed, hoping they would see him glisten. Beating pots and pans with his hands in the kitchen. They bashing on his passion cause he made his own decisions. Stitching the incisions that were brought with those opinions. In addition, started drinking, never mixed it with some thinking. Sinking into loneliness and living for the weekend. Waking up confused and popping pills for his amusement. Loving his guitar, but to the drugs he had to lose it. He wants to hit